Welcome to the Virtual Strategic Solutions Virtual Reality Simulation System. Accessing Legacy Dataset. Files loaded. Simulation ready. Werhner was born around the time of the Scourge, which he approximates as occurring around 30 years prior to 2277, though it really could have only occurred after the Lions Brotherhood of Steel departed New California in 2254. As Ashur's former second-in-command of the Pitt Raiders, Werhner is one of the more intelligent of the city's denizens. He fell from grace after trying to oust Ashur and was relegated to the status of a slave. After using his electronic skills to shut down his collar, Werhner escaped the pit and began plotting a second attempt at toppling Ashur's rule. He is disinterested in the welfare of the Pitt's slaves, and he sees them primarily as a means to an end, getting back at Ashur by kidnapping his daughter, who is also the potential cure for the city's sickness, and toppling his nascent empire. Before he escaped, Werhner began organizing a slave revolt against Ashur, in collaboration with Medea, the de facto leader of the slaves. However, to put his plan into action, he required the assistance of a healthy, able outsider to infiltrate the Pitt Raiders without being recognized. After he escaped, Werhner broadcasted a radio distress call to alert anyone who would listen to his situation. Despite being from the Pit, he does have some basic knowledge about the capital wasteland, such as knowing that the Citadel is the home of the Brotherhood of Steel, the faction that once swept through his city. He also knows that there is a lack of actual slaves in the capital wasteland, as the majority of those captured by the slavers are exported to the Pit. By the time the lone wanderer meets Werhner at a radio tower in the capital wasteland, he is engaged in combat with a trio of Pit raiders who manage to track him down after his escape. They can either assist him in dispatching the group, or watch as he takes care of them himself, which will change his initial reaction towards them, as he either thanks them for their assistance or becomes slightly frustrated that they neglected to help. Depending on the lone wanderer's choice of words during their first interaction, Werhner will refer to them as either hero, moneybags, or joker for the duration of their time together, as they either say that they came to help, that they came for the promised reward, or joke about his difficulties in dealing with the raiders, the latter of which he is annoyed by. Regardless of how their conversation starts, Werhner then begins to explain the Pit situation to them, telling them that he was one of the city's slaves prior to his escape, referring to them as his people. He neglects to tell the lone wanderer of his status as Ashur's former second-in-command, and acts as if he has always been a slave. As the player is about to leave with him to go to the Pit for the first time, he will comment on any followers the player character has with them, as he says they cannot come with. Werhner will refer to Fawkes or Karen as whatever he is. If Butch is in the player character's party, Werhner will comment that some greaser will only get in the way. Sergeant RL3 will be referred to by Werhner as a bucket of bolts. If Clover is with the player character, Werhner will comment that he cannot have a diseased whore tagging along. If Star Paladin Cross is with the player character, he will comment that a do-gooder like her might get in the way. If Dogmeat is with the player character, he will state that they cannot take the filthy mutt with them, as he will get in the way. If Jericho is with the player character, Werhner will state that they do not need a burnt-out old loser tagging along. If one kills Ashur during the free labor quest and start a conversation with Werhner wearing Ashur's power armor, he might comment about it. "Looking sharp in that suit, pal. Glad I wasn't there when you pried it off old Ashur, though. Bet it smelt like a sack full of dog asses." Simulation completed. Please exit the pod, or have a technician select another file.